Greg Jennings, former Green Bay Packer, Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packer, Fox Sports analyst. Good to see you here. 7th round 2020. That's basically like we're done here, right?
Yeah, like bye. You can have them.
What does that mean for the running game, do you think, there now?
It doesn't change anything for the running game.
Why?
I don't like. Don't get me wrong. I was a Ty Montgomery fan. I think what he provided for them was that hybrid where he posed a matchup problem if you were able to get him out on a linebacker. He's a great route runner.
Well, because he was a wide receiver.
Exactly.
He came into the league as a wide receiver.
Exactly.
But that's my point here, Greg. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Let's do it.
Because why would the fact that Ty Montgomery was a running back means a few things. One is that the Packers always had problems keeping running backs healthy. That's nobody's fault. It always happened. That's why he wore number 88. He still kept the number when they were out of options. They had to turn to him, was that 2-3 years ago when it ran out of options at running back for Aaron Rodgers. But then they kept him there instead of just like, that's a stopgap for 1 year. And it just seems to me, why not get this guy, a guy who can go 20, 25 carries, 100 yards. I know Aaron Rodgers is terrific, but we just saw Sony Michel, what that offense for New England looked like. Well, he was healthy for Tom Brady. What is there just some philosophy in Green Bay that doesn't make that happen?
I think when you are dealing with an Aaron Rodgers, a guy who is young, now he's starting to turn that corner.
Or approaching the corner.
Yep. You put so much on him and his shoulders because he's been able to do it. You feel like we can kind of survive without it. We don't really need it, but understand this. The best friend of a quarterback, obviously the left tackle, but a running back.
Yeah.
Take the pressure off when you don't have to make that throw every single time you drop back. That is the life Aaron Rodgers has had to lead and live his entire career in Green Bay.
Does he like it though? Deep down, do you think he would rather have, if he had his druthers, he would rather have somebody behind him?
I think he's getting to the point where he wants a running back. He would rather have it. Early on, yeah, he wanted that. Like, put the ball in my hands every single snap, every single play. I can make it happen. And I think everybody got mesmerized by that and kind of lulled to sleep by the success that he was able to provide them, to where you almost took that position for granted. And now he goes down. Your offense is abysmal because you don't even have a running game. You never established one because everything we did was based off of Aaron Rodgers. Even running the ball, his ability to extend the plays and get outside the pocket and make guys miss and keep the chains moving because of his legs. He was everything. He is everything.
He is. I know. Yeah. I know. So Aaron Jones is not going to be a guy that they're going to turn around and try and hand it to 15, 20 times. I mean, he does seem to me equipped to physically be able to handle something like that.
I definitely would. I love his explosion, his explosiveness, his speed, his burst. It's almost like a bolt of energy when he gets the ball in his hands. You would think, and they have gotten better. They have definitely gotten better with running the ball and not bearing the burden of winning every single game from first quarter to fourth on Aaron Rodgers by establishing a running game. And I think when you have a guy like Aaron Jones and even Williams, but Aaron Jones specifically, he's a game changer, but you have to give him the ball.
I know.
You have to give him opportunities.
I would love to see that. I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers not have to every single damn game try and throw these back shoulder passes along the sidelines because he has no timeouts left to try and get. But he's tremendous at it. It's incredibly entertaining for a fan to see.
It is.
And that's why it was particularly galling to see Ty Montgomery take the ball out because, I mean, I would have thought 999 times out of 1,000 that's going to lead to a Mason Crosby attempt. You know, obviously we saw in Detroit this year that it's not a guarantee. But I would just think that to keep more tread on the Rodgers tire, just get somebody to run the football for him.
Yes, and in going to the Ty Montgomery decision, like for me and I thought it was not the right decision to bring it out. selfish, whatever's been going on, whatever's been said about it, I don't think it was the right decision. But I understand a player and being frustrated and not getting opportunities and having the ball approach you and now it's in your hand. I want to make a play. I mean, we've seen it with Odell Beckham this year going on as a punt returner because his frustration of not getting the ball from Eli. Look, I just want to get on the field, get the ball in my hand, and try to make something happen. That's what players do. That's what competitors do. But it ripped it was almost like it robbed us as fans, as viewers, as teammates, players, the opportunity to see what could have possibly been, regardless if he takes them down there and they score.
Greg Jennings in the Honda Insider Report here on the Rich Eisen Show. But I guess when something is wrong in a locker room, when something's off in a locker room, when a guy does not just sit there and go, I understand I'm not getting my opportunities, but I'm trusting in the process, trusting in the team, trusting in my teammates because they trust in me. That's when moments like this happen, when something toxic takes over a locker room. I'm not saying something toxic is pervading the entire locker room, but there does seem to be something going on between the quarterback and the coach that they are not on the same page. Aaron Rodgers is way too smart to not be passively aggressive like he is being at the podium, okay? He's absolutely sub-tweeting without tweeting Mike McCarthy in this offense. I think of that there is no doubt. What do you think? You obviously are conversant in the language of Aaron Rodgers.
So this is always interesting for me because when I talk about the Green Bay Packers, I mean, Packer fans, I love them, but they are uber sensitive when you talk anything about McCarthy but it's truth. I have attacked his play calling years ago. And it's been problematic. It's been an issue in-house. Even when I was there, like we would grow frustrated because it was, I mean, he would say things like, we can play double headers. And yeah, you could, but we're running the same plays. There's no
what do you mean
innovation.
So that's the problem. There's no, you're running the same plays.
Yeah, there's no creativity. There's no Andy Reid like effect. And I get it. Andy Reid is special, but when you have playmakers, Aaron Rodgers alluded to this. You have a guy like Devontae Adams. Obviously, he can get off the press. But sometimes make it even easier for your guy. Bring him in motion. Create plays that are suited for him that will just ignite your offense a lot. Make it simplified, easier for them to get open so that now you're putting the pressure and the stress on the defense to guess what are you going to do. But when you just line up the same way all the time, and granted, they have the luxury to do this because every guy on that receiving core and on that roster, they can mix and match them. Everybody knows every position. So you're not just going to have a guy running the same thing, but it makes it easier more exciting for even you as a player when you're going into the game plan and you're going into a game and the game plan is like, man, I got some opportunities this week.
That doesn't exist in Green Bay. No?
That's not. I've never seen, because it's one of those places where you want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity and make sure everyone's. When I was there and we had 5 guys, we had myself, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Randall Cobb. That's 5 guys that can get it done.
That's true.
We never, although I got a lot of the attention, I never had outlier seasons where it was just my numbers were just ridiculous. No. Why? Because the premise was we got to make sure everybody gets an opportunity.
But that's not a good thing?
It is a good thing when you have the talent to do it, but
when you don't have the talent
to do it, get it to your guy. What's wrong with that? Everybody else in the NFL in this league does it. It's okay.
So you're saying the offense is so simple to figure out because they've been running the same plays, right? So going into Belichick's house, is that what does that mean? Coming up on Sunday?
I wouldn't go as far as saying the offense is so simple. It's just not as complex as you would think it could be with a guy like Aaron Rodgers running your offense.
So why hasn't it changed all these years? I mean, Aaron Rodgers obviously has some influence. He had a contract that needed to be re-signed. You got a guy like Mark Murphy in the front office who knows football at the top of the chain here. I mean,
Rich, let me share this with you. When does the Green Bay Packer offense look the best?
when it's 2 minutes to go and it's in Aaron Rodgers' hands.
Who do you think has full control over that offense then?
Number 12.
Number 12. He's calling not when that is the case, they're off. He takes it to a completely different level because he's now calling the plays. He's dictating it's like a point guard with the ball in his hand. And look, we have no more timeouts, so I can't look over. I can't come over to coach. We can't get the play. I got to run what I know I'm going to run and what I feel like is going to work. That's what he does.
So why can't he get
backyard football?
So then why can't he get control over the other 48 minutes?
That's not happening.
I mean, the other 58 minutes. I mean,
that's not happening.
Why? I mean, Peyton Manning did, for all those years.
Mm-hmm. Mike, that's not what Mike is doing. Mike is not going with dealing with Brett. It goes back to Brett. When you dealt with a guy who you felt like he was, I hate calling somebody an animal, but he was like the wild child.
Okay.
Where you couldn't control what Brett did.
Plus, he was Brett Favre by the time Mike McCarthy had come in.
Exactly. We would be in the huddle, and it would be like the play would be called. We hear it in the helmet of Brett, and he's like, "What?
Can't hear it.
We're not running that." Okay, like that was Brett, and Mike lived it, and it was like the moment that transition made, that baton was handed off, Aaron had no leash. I am not going through this like what I experienced with Brett with you, and he's not going to give that up.
That's what's called an insider report right here. So why doesn't Aaron do that? Is Aaron doing that? Why doesn't he pull a Favre on that respect? And in a way, though, this does whole conversation make it seem McCarthy doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, he has to know what he's doing.
No, he look,
right? I mean, like
we have these conversations and we make it seem like McCarthy's not a great coach. He is a great coach. He's a really good coach, and he knows what he's doing. But he wants guys to do it his way. And I get it. Every coach wants that. But he does defer. He does allow Aaron to run the 2-minute offense. It just so happened we look a lot better when he's calling the plays. I mean.
Wow. So how did you think this plays out? What do you think happens here? Because it just seems to me, 3-3-1's not cutting it when it all's said and done. And something's got to give here, right? I mean, is Aaron Rodgers going to finish his Packers career with a coach who he clearly is not on the same page with, or would management let that happen?
I think when
or can they coexist? I
mean, they've coexisted
for this long.
And we've always given, in my opinion, Green Bay passes where Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the talent. He doesn't. They don't have the personnel around him. They don't look, man. When you look who they're playing Sunday night, that has never been an excuse or reason for them not to be successful. Personnel. They find a way to make it work.
They sure do.
They overcome what they do not have. And that's one thing that the Green Bay Packers have not been able to do with one of in my opinion, the best quarterback in the game. The most talented. Tom Brady's the most decorated. Give him that. Most talented quarterback in the game. You have not been able to overcome what you do not have. And that's where the frustration grows and festers. So will McCarthy be there? I think so, because I think it goes beyond just wins and losses for the Green Bay Packers. It's relationships. It's have we had success? When a coach has won, yeah, it was 9 years ago, but they are a viable team every single year if 12 stays healthy.
Last question for you on this subject. By the way, can you stay one more segment? Can you do it?
What time we got?
Like it's right there.
I think we're good.
Okay, good. If not, though, it's all good. Last question. I know it's an unfair question, but that's the way I'm going to preface it, Greg Jennings. But it's the question everybody's going to be talking about this week. I'm already seeing a whole bunch of conversation about it. Aaron Rodgers says Bill Belichick is his head coach. How many Super Bowl rings does he have?
Man, I think he has just as many, if not more.
Than Tom Brady.
Absolutely. That's no disrespect to Tom Brady. I mean, Tom is even saying it. He would throw for 7,000 yards. Like, the talent level, it's not about the talent that Aaron possesses is a level that most quarterbacks are looking and salivating at. Patrick, that's what makes Patrick Mahomes so enticing, because we see that Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers skill set and talent, and he's able to produce the smarts, the drive, the understanding of it's not about me, the unselfishness. That just makes him look even more appealing.
Greg Jennings here on the Honda Insider Report. We're both of us removed from the Mike McCarthy Christmas card list here on the Rich Eisen Show. I mean, because that's the subtext of this whole conversation. It really is.
I didn't fire him, though.
No, I know. No, he's still there.
He's still there.
And by the way, if he and the Packers part ways, he will get a job.
Oh,
in
no
2
question.
seconds flat.
No question. He's a really good coach.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.